Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we are talking about the spell Investiture of Ice on the Doctor Spell Prognosis. Welcome to the channel that is all power gaming all day, all the time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, we are giving this spell a C-. I'm not a big fan of these investiture spells. In general, I'm not a big fan of the Elemental Evil Player's Companion spells. A lot of these are just for flavor. So one of the main questions I always ask when I'm looking at one of these spells is the power, is what you can do with this spell equivalent to the power level of the spell that it is. So this is a 6th level spell, and comparing this to other 6th level spells, is Investiture of Ice equivalent to things like Disintegrate or Chain Lightning, things like that? And really, it's not. And that's why we're giving it a C-. It is usable by a bunch of different classes. So Druids, Sorcerers, Warlocks, and Wizards. So a whole bunch of classes can use this. But one of the main mechanics out of these spells is it eats up a action that really those classes, I think, if I were playing those classes, I would be rather using that action for casting other spells. So it's a 6th level spell, takes 1 action, it has a range of self, and it also has a cone ability, kind of. Well, this one has a cone. Verbal and somatic components. It lasts for 10 minutes. So, you know, I don't know why they increased this. As far as combat goes, most combats only last for 3 or 4 rounds. So a minute for these types of spells is just fine. I guess if you're rushing through combats, or you're rushing through different rooms, or you're in a rush, you could have this up for multiple different scenes or iterations or combats or whatever you're doing in your adventure. It's a transmutation spell. So until the spell ends, ice rhymes your body and you gain the following benefits: immunity to cold and resistance to fire. So we did Investiture of Flame yesterday, which was immunity to fire and resistance to cold. This is kind of the opposite. Those are actually pretty good. Those are not bad. So you can move across difficult terrain created by ice or snow without spending extra movement. So if you're in an adventure or even a campaign where you're having to do a whole bunch of difficult terrain movement because it's like an icy landscape all the time, or you're like in an Arctic environment, this might not be such a bad thing. The next bullet point is the ground in a 10-foot radius around you is icy and is difficult terrain for creatures other than you, and the radius moves with you. That's actually pretty good. Investiture of Flame didn't have any of this kind of stuff. It was just like, I'm going to do a little bit of damage and that's it. Having difficult terrain around you, particularly if you're going to be more kind of front line, is better, because it'll make things have a more difficult time getting to you. You can use your action to create a 15-foot cone of freezing wind extending from your outstretched hand in a direction you choose. Each creature in the cone must make a Constitution saving throw, which is, I don't like Constitution saving throws. It's Con, Dex, and Strength. Con is the second worst one. It's easy for opponents to make that save. A creature takes 4d6 cold damage on a failed save, so that's 7 to 14 points of damage. Not great for a 6th level spell. Half as much on a successful one. That's why I say on average it's going to be 7 to 14 points. 7 if they make their save, and 14 if they failed their save. A creature that fails the save against this effect has its speed halved until the start of your next turn. So that's actually not too bad. I wish it was until the end of your next turn. That would be nice, but that's not too bad. So there's a couple of control-y things that come into this spell, and this bumps that up from an F all the way up to a C-. It's not earth-shattering. It's not going to end combats. It's none of that. It is an okay spell that players can use that lasts way too long, in my opinion. It does not need to last 10 minutes. And I am going to guess that the writers said, oh, it lasts 10 minutes, so that should feed into the level of the spell that we're going to be using. instead of it lasts a minute, so maybe this should be lower level. In my opinion, this spell should probably be a 4th level spell at a minimum. Maybe a 5th level at most. That's kind of pushing it. So because I think the most powerful class to be able to use this is probably the Sorcerer. Just because now, you know, this can eat up a action if you choose to use that 4th bullet that you can cast a cone. So if you want to eat your action up, then the Sorcerer does have options with spell points to be able to cast spells while that's happening. So there's the Quicken spell, and that's pretty much it at that point. Because once you use your action, then the only other choice you have at this point is using a Quicken spell. Can't stick any of the rest of these on a spell because the rest of everything requires some kind of action, except for the Quicken one. It gives you a bonus action to cast a spell. So you still can cast other spells while you're doing this. However, this right here, 15-foot cone, means you're going to be relatively close. That's not great. As a kind of ranged sorcerer, I don't really want to be close. I would say for the druid, probably Circle of the Moon. So you'd cast this. You're going to have to concentrate on it, which you can do while you're wild shape, and then you wild shape into something that is going to put you on the front line. And then, you know, you have this terrain around you, and in addition, you can move across difficult terrain. You've got this terrain, and then you can use this if you want to kind of slow a creature down if you can get them to fail their save. For the wizard, maybe Blade Song or Blade Singer. I really wouldn't use this for wizard. For sorcerers, I would still probably stick with wild magic. I like wild magic the most out of the sorcerer. I just like that. I like this table. I like that ability, and I like the bend luck and the tides of chaos ability. So all in all, this is an okay spell. It's not great. It's not an F, but it's definitely not a C. It should be lower level, but it is what it is. We will be doing the investiture spells, I think, for the next 2 videos. So I don't think I'm going to be ranking any of them very high. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.